Hello there, Eagles fans. Welcome back to Philly Eagles Therapy. I'm Basil,
And I'm Baz.
and we're recording Friday, February 20th, 2026. Dad, how you doing today?
Pretty good, man. A little snow squall out there today. That was pretty cool. It's a Friday, so I can't complain.
Yep. No, it's always good to have a Friday off, and it's always good when it snows on a Friday, too. A lot of fun around here. Yeah. All right, Dad. Well, let's get into it. As always, want to give a shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs. They meet at Rhino Sports and Spirits during the season. We'll keep you updated on the draft talk. Obviously, the draft's still quite a while away, but we'll talk about that. I'm sure we'll be meeting up for that. But let's get into the news pretty quick, Dad. Not a lot to talk about, but one or two big things to talk about, and it's great news. Lane Johnson, Philadelphia Eagle, 14-year veteran. He's going to be going into his 14th year with the Eagles. He is not retiring. He is staying with the team. This is enormous, humongous, gigantic news.
It is. And the good thing is, he kind of had he missed half the season there. So, I mean, the recovery and all that stuff, he's had an extended time to get ready for the season. I'm glad he's coming back, not just to be playing for us, but to mentor that next guy that we draft. And obviously, we're going to have to probably get some realignment there going on, so reload a little bit. So, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
great
think
news.
I think what comes along with this news is over the last like 2, 3 weeks with all the things that have happened, it just feels like it's becoming very clear. The first pick for us has to be an offensive lineman, and it has to be the idea that he's going to be the tackle going forward after Lane,
That's right.
because obviously you can expect this to be his last year. I can't imagine he'd be playing another year after this, so it is time to restock. It stinks sometimes because you hate to draft a guy who's going to be a backup. That's kind of what Jahad Campbell turned into this year, which was a bummer, not to his own fault, um, but not what you love to see. But sometimes it's got to happen, and I think it's time that we draft a tackle to replace him.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is, it's changed. In the old days, you draft a quarterback, he would sit for 3 years. And linemen, again, they didn't start right away either. Now, the NFL's changed so much with all the money it costs and everything. So normally, you got a number one pick, he better be on the field week one. And that's kind of where, you never know how it's going to work out because some of these guys aren't quite ready. And some of them are ready, obviously. So, and that's just the way it is now, especially with quarterbacks. They're starting day one. I mean, you see it all the time now, but
Yeah,
in the old days, it wasn't that way. And linemen normally they were out there right away, but still, they're not ready yet. Now we've got a
hmm
guy that can anchor the right side, and hopefully, if Lane does decide not to come back next year, we'll have a guy ready to go. But he'll be able to be mentored by Lane, and that's a good thing.
yeah. What's your thoughts on if that guy is going to be brought in to start at right guard and then move to right tackle to replace Lane?
We've seen it before, and I think that works fine with me. I mean, we've seen what Dickerson started as a center. How was it?
Yeah,
Cam started as a guard.
Dickerson was drafted out of college to be the backup center or to really in the future take over for Kelsey. And then Kelsey
Right.
kept playing great, and we needed him for guard, and he was just so good at guard that it was like, well,
Yes.
we got to find someone else to do this.
That's
And then they
right.
drafted Cam, and
Yep.
because Kelsey kept playing, Cam had to play a year at guard. So
And it worked out. I mean, that's
yeah, definitely,
I mean, in a way, your responsibilities aren't the same as a center
yeah,
or a right tackle, left tackle. So as a guard, I'm not saying they don't have to know what they're doing, but to find a good one is not easy to do, as we've seen in the past. But yeah, I think it'd be a good thing to get him on the field and at least have him for competition as a guard, maybe with Steen, and if Dickerson's not up to par yet or whatever. So
yeah. To me, that rookie year, I mean, it's all about getting. He's got to have the chance to understand the pace of the offensive or of the NFL. You know what I mean? The
definitely.
speed of the NFL is what the first year is all about. And some guys they come in right away and they're amazing, and then sometimes it takes a year or two, maybe
Yep.
seven like Sam Darnold. But
Agreed. So, but I think we both are on the same page, thinking the number one pick in this draft has to be offensive line.
yeah,
Not for need, not for best player available. The line for need.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Yes, for
yes.
tackle replacement.
Yeah, I know that's the thing we talked about before. Howie Roseman, he's known for, kind of not being a fan of drafting for need. It's all about drafting the value, the best player. I think this year is a zag. I think this year is going to be a zag from that. I think there's going to be a guy on the board who maybe is a better player and a better value. but I think it's just you got to get a tackle. We got or a guard
Yeah,
or whatever, someone to replace Lane. You just have
yeah.
to. I
And
still
I do believe it's going to be a number one pick, and it's going to be a trade up for sure.
yeah,
They're going to
use one of those
trade up.
leverage. Yeah,
Yep,
I know what you
some
mean.
of those extra picks we have, and get a better pick.
Yeah. To mention the greatness of Lane, did you want me to go over our record? The thing that's been kind of trending, everyone talks about.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. But go ahead.
Yeah, like since 2016, of course, 2016 is probably about the time where he was drafted in 13. 16 was probably about the time where it was like, oh, this guy's one of the best tackles in the NFL. Before that, he was kind of, he was still great. I thought he was great his rookie year. But it was around 2016 where he started to really grow and be known as, oh, that's one of the best players in the NFL. And yeah, since 2016, when Lane Johnson's on the field, the Eagles are 94, 41, and 1. And when he doesn't play, they're 15 and 28.
Wow. Well,
And
I
this
know
year,
this at the end of this year we saw
yeah,
that 28. That's where how
that
it
number
got up
grew.
that high. Yeah, it
It was
did.
crazy. It's funny, he got injured right before the Cowboys game, and then we lost three straight, and then obviously the playoff game and lost the command. I mean, he wasn't playing the Commanders game, but still, like
Right.
it's just funny, it's you saw it immediately this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they talked about him, towards the end. Remember, we kept hearing, "Oh, he's going to start this game. He's going to start." And a lot of us knew there's no way he's coming back with that injury. And as the season went on, we just knew he wasn't coming back. And then in the playoff game, they talked about him coming. Yep, up until the day before, I think we thought he was going to be playing, and sure enough, that day he wasn't on the field. So
Yeah.
we missed
And
him.
some dimension with this, just really in since maybe like the 2000s, just since 2000, the last 26 years of Eagles football, the amount of tackles and great tackles that we've had, the lineage is just incredible. The turnover, it hasn't been often, and when it has happened, it's been fantastic. I mean, you look back in the early 2000s to Trey Thomas and John Runyon, who were one of the best tackle duos in the league back then. And
Right,
then after that, we go to Jason Peters, and then after that, you get Lane Johnson over there at right tackle. Peter starts to fall off, and then you end up falling into your lap falls Jordan Mailata. So you do feel very confident that this team, can get another player, in the draft, whether it's first or second round, something like that. You
right.
really do feel confident that that right tackle is going to be here for a while and good for a while because
Yeah.
they have the track record of it.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that earlier about how Mylotta was kind of a non-name, and then all of a sudden he actually blossomed after a couple years, just kind
Yeah,
of in a roster, back there,
that one was
and
completely luck. We've talked about it.
that's right.
He was sixth round pick in 18, and then on the practice squad in all of 18 and all of 19, and then 2020 he has to play, and we're like, oh, this guy's pretty good. And then
Yeah.
21 he becomes a starter, and since then he's just been fantastic.
So you remember a couple years ago during one of the podcasts we talked about how many players that have been on a practice squad ended up
Yeah,
being a Pro Bowler or a main starter, and we couldn't really think of many. We looked and looked and
yeah,
looked, and now we kind of have one that's kind of the poster boy for that because
yeah.
obviously he's been great. I don't know if he's done the Pro Bowl or All Pro yet, but
He's been an All Pro, but not a Pro Bowler.
yeah, or is the other way around?
No,
Pro Bowl,
he's been an All Pro, not a Pro Bowler.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, he hasn't helped himself. He has dealt with some injuries in his career. Obviously,
missed a little bit. Yeah,
in 2022, when he was starting to become elite, he missed 4 games, and you don't really get voted to things. And then in 2023, uh, just didn't get it. And
yeah,
then last year he was second team All Pro, but even last year he missed some games. Fred Johnson had to come in and play some
right.
games every once in a while. So it does happen.
Yep, yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The next thing I wanted to mention was another offensive lineman, Cam Jurgens. It's been going around a little bit viral that he went down to Colombia to get some stem cell procedure for his injuries. So just a little bit scary.
Yeah,
uh,
well, we've seen it last year at the end of the year, and now we're hoping that this long extended time off is going to be something for him to be able to get it back, just like Lane with the foot, and then Dickerson with his back as well. So in the knee now, right, or hip, or
yeah,
whatever it is. But yeah, hopefully they have enough extended time off, and or right now are taking it easy, and hopefully they're ready when it's time to be ready.
yeah. Thank you for mentioning Landon. I had it next, but I wanted to. Can we we take this time to maybe gloat that we were right about the tush push, and just you got to get rid of it because it feels like, and you've kind of said it on here probably before, or at least to me
Yeah,
before, you know, these last few years while they've tried to get rid of it, they're like, oh, to keep the players safe. And the idea was always to keep the defensive linemen safe. Oh, it's going to hurt someone, da da da. And
right.
I think, like, I agree with what you've said before. I think in 4 or 5 years, it's going to come out that, this was actually hurting our players. This
I
our
firmly
offensive,
believe it. Yep.
yeah. And now we're looking at Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson. I mean, one guy who's in his fifth year is thinking about retiring.
Right.
I mean, it's just bad. It's a really bad look.
I mean, with Lane, obviously we knew. I'm sorry, Lane. What am I saying? Landon. He had a couple big college injuries, so that's not as surprising. But Cam, I don't think he had the injuries
Never.
that when he came into the league, and now that's that lower back of his that's just been, beat up. And of course, I know Kelsey's talked about it, saying that it really wasn't a problem with him, but he only did it the last couple of years. He wasn't doing it, all the time like we were doing the last few years. So I don't know. Maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't come out, but I don't know if it's going to be back next year. Probably won't be. But it's funny to watch all these other teams that voted against it, like the Bills, used it. I don't know how many
Oh yeah.
times towards the end of the season. I saw it. I don't know how many times there. So I don't know. Hopefully that it is something that they go away from and just get another first down the other way with the running back or whatever you got to do. The quarterback, take it around the end or something.
Yeah. That's all I have on Eagles news, Dad. Do you have anything else to mention that's happened?
I think there's some more coaches. We got a new quarterbacks coach now too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's fair.
I forget his name. And then something about Charlie Parker or something. He wasn't let go. He's still working as a coach, doing something back there.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
that's his name.
Parks Frazier is the
That's
quarterback.
it, Parks Frazier.
Yeah.
We had a
So,
feeling they were going to get rid of all of them, but he's staying on. So
well, Leffler was the quarterback's coach last year, so Frazier moves into that role. So, yeah,
okay,
there you go. I think I forgot to mention one other thing. Oh, yes. A little bit of clickbait stuff. AJ Brown, a lot of AJ Brown trade stuff and everything. AJ Brown was on the podcast, the Julian Edelman and Gronkowski podcast, and they were he mentioned how he grew up a Patriots fan because his older cousin I think was a Patriots fan, so he always wanted to be like his cousin. So he was a Patriots fan, and so at the end of it they were kind of like, oh well, we can all agree we're all Patriots, right? And AJ Brown kind of laughed and winked, and so there was a whole like, oh, AJ Brown's going to the Patriots, all that sort of stuff. So thoughts on that?
yeah. Well, nothing's going to happen, and we know that until the league year starts. What, in March, end of March? I don't know. Even after the draft, I don't even know when that goes because it's funny. You see some rumors about players being traded. I'm like, there's no trades. You can't
Yeah,
do any trades until the league year begins, and I don't know when that is. I don't
March
know if it's
11th.
after. So March 11th, and then
Yeah.
that's obviously before the draft. But there's already been some players we've seen cut. Michael Carter, right? Didn't he get cut? Didn't we save money by letting him go?
I think
Or,
they had talked about it. They haven't done it yet, though.
but I think you have to wait till a certain date for money, some
Well,
kind of
Tyreek
money.
Hill got cut by the Dolphins, so we could talk about that one too.
That's true, yeah. But who knows? When he had such a gruesome injury, we'll even be able to play this year. That's
That was
huge.
so bad. Yeah,
It was
that was
bad.
awful. Oh my
It
gosh.
was.
Let's see.
Yeah, I've saw some stuff. He's going back to the Chiefs. And who knows?
I know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I know. It's bad. I'm just kidding. I hate
That's
football.
that's the hard part about this time of the year. You could start talking about a draft, which is not for another 2 months, right? End of April.
Yep.
And the league year, obviously, you can talk about getting rid of players that have that money thing, and if you have to wait till a certain date. So, like you say, there's really not any real news other than
Yeah.
coaching changes and things like that.
Yeah. Well, then let's get into that. So we'll talk about some free agency. You said like the league year starts March 11th. So I have a list of free agents here, and of all the Eagles free agents, and I kind of want to know your thoughts on them, and spend some more time on the big ones, I guess, and we go quick on the smaller ones, but
Sure.
just kind of mention them all. But all right, I'll start off with kind of the biggest one, probably one of the two biggest that you could kind of talk about. Reed Blankenship.
Should we re-sign him? I hope so. I think we can, and I don't think he's going to command a monster salary.
No.
He probably knows going somewhere else is not the same with like a defensive end or something like that. And I think he knows his role, and I think they'd be happy to keep him if again, I don't know if it's going to be a team-friendly deal, which they always talk about, but it'd be nice for him to get it because they didn't sign him during the season to an extension. And, we have a couple extensions out there we need to make. So, I'm hoping they re-sign him. I think, he didn't have a fantastic year. He didn't have the picks that he's had in the past, but, he's still a solid player for us. And, he knows the two other guys that are doing great. So, he's a piece of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess up that. He was a captain on the defensive course alongside Zach Bond, and I just don't think you can. Yeah, I just don't think you can move on from him, especially with the relationship he's created with Cooper DeJean.
And Quignon, yes.
You want to keep that happy, and then the relationship with Quignon. We already have to replace that second safety spot. Marcus Epps is a name that's going to pop up later. I don't know if you think about bringing him back, but I feel like you already have to worry about that second safety spot with Makuba, who was injured and stuff like that. So you just don't want to. You don't want to have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about spots, especially when one guy's coming back from an injury.
Yeah, and he played well. He played well, and it was a rookie. So I mean, hopefully he's ready, and the injury bug doesn't continue. But it's only one injury, right? It just was one that was a little bit more severe than
kind of a freak injury. It was all Sidney Brown's fault, who's definitely not going to be on the team. I think he's a immediate trade candidate for sure. I think he's. I think day one he could be traded.
And it's so funny you hear about, well, he was such a good special teamer, and he was, but you got to be able to play the position when we put you out there, and he was a degradation. You know what I mean? He was worse than what we needed. We needed somebody to at least be here, and he was down here, and we've given him enough chances. It's over. It's over.
Same with Keely Ringo. I think that's the same type of thing. But we're not talking about those guys. Next one, Grant Calcaterra.
No, I don't think so. I mean, he had his many opportunities last year, and it just did not pan out at all. Yeah. The guy can't block, and if he had caught 20, 25 passes for 320 yards, I'd say, and we saw a couple times where he made some big catches, but one a game.
Not last year. That's the problem.
Two a game. Right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It was 2 years ago,
Yeah. Get me a new college tight end that's going to be a low cap guy, a low salary guy, and, a prove it type player. And, there's a boatload of them out there. There's probably 50 of them that you can get that got hands. But, we need a blocking tight end. We know that. So that'd be the third guy we need to get. But, no, I wouldn't go with Calcaterra.
Yeah, I agree. I'm full out on him. Next one, the Kobe Dean.
Team-friendly deal. Is he going to get
no chance?
$13 million a year? I just don't think we can. Yeah, I don't think we can do that. I don't think we can do that.
It would be the most shocking signing of the offseason if we somehow signed this guy.
Yeah. So what year is he in?
Well, he just had his fourth season since he's a free agent. So.
And we obviously, so he wasn't a number one pick then.
Obviously,
first round.
He was a third round pick. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking of Smith. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. You're thinking Jahad Campbell.
Well, no, and Nolan Smith was a first round.
Oh,
pick.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So we have him for 5 years. So
yeah.
Okay.
But no Kobe Dean though. Yeah, I just can't imagine he's back. I want him back really more than anyone. But this is where I disagree sometimes with the Howie Roseman not drafting for need. He drafts for value, and they drafted Campbell, and now you can't keep Nakobe. Because if you sign Nakobe, you wait. Right. Campbell's a wasted pick for another 2 years. I mean,
you don't run three linebackers out there.
You don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, you don't.
And he's not playing edge. I just can't imagine them signing him because it's impossible.
It sucks because he was one of the best defensive players we had at the end of the last 4 or 5 games of the season. I thought
definitely
with that the way he was coming in and running over running backs and sacking the quarterback when we really needed in some of those games. But
I would say he was the best. I would say he was our best defensive player the last 8 games of the season. Yeah, overall, amazing. I would say yes, he was the best. I would agree.
And, when he starts blitzing, man, he's just amazing.
It's a bummer. I just don't know what you can't do it.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon.
No, come on. He should have been cut early on in the season. And they should have brought somebody else up and put him on there. I don't know if it was that other running back. I forget his name. He's got the 3 names. He should have been up there, at least getting some,
Yeah,
Throw him in there for a play or two. You know who I'm talking about. I forget his name, but
I do too.
he's a running back that we had.
All right, Jahan Dotson.
John Dodson. Well, no, no. I mean, he's had his opportunities as well. Not last year so much, but the year before. When he should have, he just doesn't get the ball. I mean,
This is
yeah,
where this is a player where it's not his own fault. This is where I blame Jalen Hurts and the coaching staff.
right,
We've all talked about it and how sometimes it can be very annoying, no matter how much you love Jalen to anybody. I'm not, no matter how much you love him, no matter if you just dislike him, whatever.
right,
He does play favorites. He does have this trust issues with, okay, well, who are my number one guys, my number two guy,
right.
that's who gets the ball first. And, he just doesn't really seem to ever, ever, ever look Jahan Dotson's way. And
Yeah,
that's been the case for the number three receiver ever since 2021, since he's been in the league. I mean,
it's funny too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
our number three receiver has never been good. I mean,
Right,
the best year was Quez Watkins, and that was 300 yards.
right. It's funny
it,
too
it,
because you
it
look at this. If you rewatch the Super Bowl from last year, he had that big catch, and then he had another catch like 5 plays later. So he
yes.
had two catches, and you're like, oh, okay, now we have three guys we can use. And then this year, non-existent. I mean, I don't get it, but
Did he even have double digit catches? I got to ask that.
yeah, I don't know if I could answer that.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Sorry, but I'm genuinely asking. I don't even know if he had double digit catches.
Which would mean less than one a game. I mean, that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
he obviously did not have one in the playoff game.
Right.
He had 18 catches. So my
Yeah,
bad.
that's one a game. That's
Literally,
unacceptable. That's
yeah,
unacceptable.
that's 17 regular season games and a
And
playoff
one,
game. Literally,
yeah.
you're right. It's 18 catches in
For
18 games.
and I don't know his salary situation. I don't know how much money he got. I know we
It,
traded for him, and
thankfully, he was a first round pick, drafted and traded to us. So it's a pretty controlled money wise. He's not very
right.
expensive,
And I
but
know they paid a lot of that first year salary just because they were dropping him off and leaving him at our doorstep. But no, I think with Cooper, who's our third wide receiver, I think he's
yeah, Cooper's gonna be going forward.
possibly the guy, and then you do a thrower on a fourth or fifth rounder, and hopefully he shows up like Puka Nakua or somebody like that out of the blue, and is an amazing player, in Jigba, something like that. I mean, that's the opportunity, they're out there. Just go find the one.
And that's what's really frustrating about. Again, I'll bring up the Jalen Hurts thing. That's been really frustrating about the Eagles since 2021. Quez Watkins, the Anaya Smith, the Johnny Wilson. Like you draft these guys, and now Cooper, who was an undrafted free agent, and we'll see how that turns out. But even when we brought Julio Jones here, and then you talk about the other guy that we traded for, or we brought in
Beckham, Jordan.
Olamide Zacchaeus. I
Okay,
mean,
yeah,
I'm only talking Nick Sirianni
yeah.
era, so I'm not even
Right.
going
I
back.
got you. I got
It's
you.
just like,
Yeah.
why can't the number three receiver do anything ever?
Right.
It's
Right.
just
Yeah.
crazy.
It
It's
is.
so bad. I mean, it's historically bad to be a number three wide receiver for the Eagles. Like it's
And even
insane.
when you had Kellen Moore as your offense coordinator, so it's not like
No,
the guy we had last year or falling off, but he still wasn't used. And don't tell me he's not open when these other guys are getting shadowed by two different safeties or two different cornerbacks. You know what I mean? They're
yeah.
watching for
La-
AJ and they're watching for Devontae.
Last year he had 19 catches.
So yeah, 2 years a catch a game. He had two
Insane.
in the Super Bowl. That's all I'm talking about.
I know. All right, sorry, we spent too much time on that. Marcus
It's
Epps.
okay. It's funny because I know last year when we brought him back and he looked pretty good, right? I mean, but I, I don't know how many years is he in now. He's probably in his late 20s, and you know,
He's been, yeah, he's been around
we
for a while.
yeah we tried that last year with Adoree Jackson, who, I don't know if he was up and down. Let's just say that, okay?
Yeah,
And
Epps is
we
thir-
need,
Epps is Epps is 30 years old.
yeah,
Um, this is with my thoughts. Obviously signing Reed Blankenship. You already have Makuba. I wouldn't be against Epps, but he probably wants to have a chance to be a starting safety, not a number
sure,
three. So
right.
it's also a tough conversation to have with a guy.
Right, and he does have good value. I mean, he played well. He's got some good tape. I mean, so I don't think it's something you could say like we could do it with a pretty, again another team friendly deal or something that's, hey, take a flyer this year and then we'll pay you next year. Like I don't think that's going to happen. Plus, I'd rather see youth out there anyway. I'd rather see them. Again, you got a lot of draft picks. let's go. Let's hit on a couple of these guys, So
Yep. Dallas Goddard.
definitely, I think so. I wouldn't mind. This year he played for 10. Probably maybe a 2 year, 24. I don't know if a guy like that can go into a different system and just be the guy. He knows where he stands here. The fans love him. He's played well for us. We drafted him. Um, but that's going to be a contract thing for him. You know what I mean? Like, how much can we free up to pay him? How much does he want? Is he want top tight end money? After last season, which is his best season ever, touchdown catch wise for
Yeah.
us. I mean, he's
It,
got that going for him, but
this is tough to say, but I'm not bringing Goddard back. Now I know it sucks to say that because really you're not going to be bringing any of these tight ends back. So my thought process is that in the draft you're drafting probably two, and then you're getting an undrafted free agent, and I mean you're going to want to try to sign a guy who's a veteran, of course, as well.
right.
Kyle Pitts is going to be available. We'll see how that goes. But I'm Dallas Goddard. I love him. I'll always love him. He'll always be a hero in this city and loved in this city. But this year, I know he stayed healthy, but
Yes.
he's still an injury prone player, and he's now a year older. And
Yeah.
I get it. The touchdowns are impressive. A lot of them were, it's the same way that people could mention the whole, Jalen Hurts, he had 12 rushing touchdowns, but, 8 of them were tush pushes. Well, Goddard had 11 receiving touchdowns, and, 9 of them were on the 1 yard line. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
There were a couple of those. Yeah, there was.
It's hard to really, I still think he's a really good player, but the cost that it's going to be, and he's
Yeah.
always been an injury prone player, and I don't need that right now.
Yeah.
I think it's time to say goodbye, and I don't know, sucks,
Yeah.
but
It would have
this,
to be, like you say, a real team friendly type deal where he wants to be here. But, again, a lot of those touchdowns he got last year was because they didn't know what to do when they got close to the goal line. It just had so many issues that, he made some plays, but a lot of them were, I mean, he didn't have that many catches towards the end of the season, three, four,
so
you know,
82, how many catches do we have in total? 60 catches total. So
right,
it was his most catches ever, but not his most yards by not even close to his most yards.
right. He's been close to 900 the last couple of years.
It's
I know
actually
that. So,
it's his lowest yards per catch.
gotcha.
It was his lowest
But,
yards per catch by a lot.
but he did have the touchdowns. So,
This guy, I know it's the 11 touchdowns, but I just think I don't know. I think it's time to move along.
yeah. And
And I
again,
mean, you might
get
get
a
a
young
good
guy,
you might get a good pick for him too, in the sense of if he signs a good contract, you get a compensatory pick. Might be
That's
okay.
true.
You know. Uh, Kylan Granson, another tight end.
No, go.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't do
I,
anything.
I got a good one. Brandon Graham.
Do I think Brandon Graham will come back? He played well when he first came back. I don't know how much they relied on him later in games. Again, I know he's not going to want 25 million a year, so I think he'd be back. He would take whatever they give him, I think. And he's not a bad guy to have on the sidelines. I can tell you that too. So
I would bring him back immediately.
hey, I wouldn't be against it.
I would bring him back immediately, and
I
I'd
thought he
play him at
looked.
defense. I'd make him the number 4 defensive tackle, maybe the number 5 defensive
Yeah,
tackle.
I agree.
Play him on the edge when you need to, but
Yeah.
I think to me that's the thing.
Yeah, he looked good, man. He looked good, and now you say you're coming back, and he's got the 3-4 months to get ready, and he definitely did not look like he lost much in the tank for sure. So I
Yeah.
would say yeah,
This next one's a pretty quick one. Sam Howell,
quarterback.
quarterback.
No,
I
no,
would
get it.
so I would bring him back. I would
Really?
because I think Tanner McKee is going to get traded this year at some point, and
Yeah,
I'm happy. I know he's not great, but I'd rather have him who's been in the system for a year than Johnny McBobo.
right. No, you're right there. I mean, and obviously he's not making 50 million a year either. So he'd definitely come back on a lower salary. I don't even think he saw the field at all last year, right?
No, not at
Not
all.
even for a snap. But yeah, I think you're right. And I think this is the year that Tanner McKee, I mean, I remember saying before last year's, when we started this pod last year before the season started, I said, one more year with Tanner. Jalen did not get hurt. Tanner probably hurt himself more than he helped himself in that
Yeah,
one game, which,
it's a
come
tough
on,
one. He's playing with a
it is.
backup Reinman. It's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. But, he's definitely, we've had him 3 years now, right? I mean,
Yes,
yeah. So I mean, I think it's and
yes.
we were excited for him a couple times, and played well last year when he got in there, and the year before. I'm sorry, last year, he looked okay, but I don't think he rose his stock any. And I think it's time to trade for a third, maybe
Yeah,
late second, maybe.
something like
Teams
that.
teams need some. They need a
Well,
quarterback in Pittsburgh. If
teams are immensely quarterback desperate, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can get that out of a team.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
you're looking at, Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. I don't think what's his face is coming back.
so yeah, I would keep Sam
Rodgers?
Howell. Next one, Adoree Jackson.
No,
I agree.
absolutely
Uh,
not.
Fred Johnson.
Yes, if you can. Yes, if you can keep him on, he likes his role again. I
If you
would I
say
would take
team
him.
friendly deal again, I'm gonna
No, I'm
smack you.
not going to say it, but I mean, it would be nice. I know he likes to be here, and he's gone other places, and he came back. So I think if he's willing to come back and he's willing to take a pretty good salary, we would
Yeah,
take him.
I would take him back in a heartbeat, but I do think
Yeah,
there's a chance he goes somewhere else.
yeah. But
Um,
he may have learned from Mekhi Becton, so.
yeah, Mekhi Becton might be back this year.
I know. He went somewhere else, and the pastures were not any greener.
Braden Mann.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. I thought he
Yeah,
was towards the end of the season, even during some of those awful Detroit Packer games and the weather, and oh my gosh, he was amazing. I thought. I mean, he saved butt there for us. It's a
I
couple
would agree.
games. I really do feel that way. Yeah.
Azeez Ojulari.
No, go get out.
All right.
No,
I wouldn't mind keeping him as a fourth defensive end.
no, no, no.
You
Get
got
him
to have
another
a vet.
one.
You got to
I,
have a veteran.
we have veterans. We got Nolan Smith. We got Jalen Hunt. He's a veteran now. I
They don't know how to
disagree.
they don't know how to get sacks.
I disagree. So neither does Olajare. So come
Oh,
on.
we're
How
gonna have to
many?
talk. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
Never
I
mind.
don't.
Um,
Yeah, no.
Agbo Okoronkwo.
Boy, we've given him so many chances too. No.
Right. Jalen Phillips is a big one.
Well, he's going to command a lot. I don't know how much. So there's been talk of 18, 19. There's been talk of 12. Maybe he'll do a like a Reddick deal, 2 years, 20, 24, something like that. Yeah, I would take him. He's a player who came out of the box really, really nice. Christmas morning, man, he opened that box and he looked shiny. And then after about 4 or 5 weeks, he was putting the pressure, but he wasn't getting the sacks. And a guy like him, we need the sacks. We
Yeah,
need the sack. We need numbers. We need 8, 9, 10. And would he finish with 2, 5, 6,
yeah.
7 games, 8 games? I don't
I
know.
know.
So I think that kind of hurt his free agency type money.
I wonder. And like you said, he did have the pressures. That was great, but
Yeah.
it was a little frustrating to be like, man, this guy get us a can this guy buy us a
Yeah.
freaking sack?
Yeah, we needed some sacks and we didn't get them, and that's what it's all about, man. You got to get those sacks. You got to stack them up. You got to average 2 or 3, 4 a game. And boy, there were some games we did not do that.
I'm sorry, I'm pulling him up right real
But I
quick.
do like the player. I think he's a great player. He loved being in Philly. I thought he was, but he is an
It's
injury
eight. It's
prone
eight. Yeah,
player.
it's 8 games, 2 sacks,
Yeah, it's not enough, man.
nine hurries, which is good, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it's
I
got
don't
to be
I don't
double. I need
yeah
4 and I need 20
four
pressures.
passes deflected. That's pretty darn good.
He did get his hands up, and that was
But
great.
he didn't log a statistic in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah,
He
I
didn't
know.
log a single stat.
I was looking for him to come off the edge there and get some sacks. Didn't happen.
Next one, Matt Pryor,
No, I
Brett
no
Toth.
no. I know Toth he's played well. You
Yeah.
got to move on, man. You got to move on.
Well, especially because Stout's not here. So, last one, Josh Uche.
Nope. I know you want a veteran defensive end, but I don't agree. I think get a free agent somewhere. Get somebody who's playing somewhere else and is overlooked. It's time to
Yeah.
pick the carcass, baby.
So we got
I
to
had high hopes for Olajari and Uche, and
still can't say his
all
right.
all season I waited and waited and waited and just no wasting space.
I know. I agree. It's a bummer.
Yeah, it was wasting
I
space.
do think we're gonna have to do something about have a at least one veteran. I get it. I know Hunt and Smith are veterans, but I don't think of them as veterans because they're not playing
Yeah,
like veterans.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
I
I get
know.
it. I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, they do other things really well." Jalen Hunt had 3 interceptions this year. That was incredible. And
Yeah, that was great.
Nolan Smith, he was injured. But it just doesn't. Are they getting better? is the
Right.
like that's the
Right.
big question that I always have about like
Yeah.
is Nolan Smith getting better? Because I
Right.
don't think so. Doesn't
Yeah.
feel like he's getting better, you
No,
know?
it sucked because at the end of last season, the Super Bowl season, he just tore it up at the end, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay. And even Hunt, in the Super Bowl was incredible.
It's
And you're like,
ridiculous.
okay, he got it. And then of course you always talked about how he didn't play in preseason, and he should have to just learn a little bit more. And I think they kind of got sat back and they didn't play, and just it just wasn't happening. Where do you go get Bradley Chubb? I don't know. Like, there's some free agent
Maybe. Yeah.
defensive ends you got to look at, and this is a guy that had 10, what, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11 the last year or two. So, and he's played with for Fangio before, so it's possible. But again, that's a high command salary.
Yeah. Now the big name that's out there that not going to spend too much time on because we'll talk about it when the free agency is getting a little bit closer. But obviously Max Crosby is you know, the
The
big
trade,
talk.
yeah, yeah. Well, if we want an offensive lineman in the first round pick, you trade for Crosby, you're gonna lose that pick. So
I know. It's tough.
yeah, it is. It
Tough
is.
work. And this is where the whole, this is where the AJ Brown trade comes into play, where you start to think about, well, yeah, if you can get a first round pick, maybe, because then maybe we can draft a lineman and a receiver, something like that.
Right.
But it just, or maybe we can trade that pick or another pick for AJ or for Max Crosby, something like that. It's
Right.
just tough. But I don't want to entertain AJ Brown trades, but it's
Yeah.
just that's where it comes into play because you're just like there's not a lot of ammunition and
I,
there's some
I
holes right now.
I don't think AJ'd want to go to the Raiders.
No, no,
Yeah. Boy, I don't know how that works, but I don't. He wouldn't be very happy about that.
no.
Yeah.
Dad, you got anything else to talk about?
No, but I would love to have Max Crosby. There's been a lot of talk about it, and he's just, man, he's an Eagle, man. He is a Philadelphia Eagle player. He plays like one, man. He's got that bloody tape on his elbow. I mean, he's a
I know what you mean.
he's a beast. I would love
He
to
is.
have him, but I just don't think it. I don't think it happens.
Yeah. All right, well, then let's say our goodbyes here. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. If you like Philly Eagles Therapy, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Tell us how happy you are that Lane Johnson's coming back.
Big
You
time.
can email us your questions at phillyeaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Philly Eagles Therapy, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.